Hi artists! Today we're diving in to one of the most important elements of art, value. Value is all about light and dark, and it's what helps our artwork look real, dramatic, and 3D instead of flat. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to create a value scale, how to blend smoothly using pencils, how to shade using hatching, cross-hatching, and stippling, and if there's time, how to use watercolor pencils to make value look 3D with color. And most importantly, we're going to talk about quality craftsmanship because practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. Artists use value to show light and shadow, 3D forms, and depth and dimension. A value scale shows a smooth change from white, which is your lightest value, gradually to black, your darkest value. Our goal today is to create strong contrast. That means we can clearly see the difference between light, medium, and dark values. Let's get started. For this value scale, I'm going to use a pencil medium. You can see in this pencil pack there are lots of different types of pencils. For this value scale, I'm using an H pencil, which has a hard lead. It makes lighter marks, and a General's Layout pencil, which is a soft lead, which makes darker marks. Each box on the value scale should slowly change from light to dark. White is a value. It represents your highlight. So let's start in the light gray value first. I'm going to always start light using the side of my pencil. I like to blend in circular strokes, and if I'm filling in any area, you know I'm edging out that area first. Craftsmanship refers to the quality in which the way you're using your tools. So good craftsmanship means that we want to have clean edges in the boxes of our value scale. So take your time, start very, very light. In fact, I'm almost working feather light here to edge out your areas. Then, once you're ready to start filling in your area, do not press too hard right away. Also, because I'm blending in a circular motion, I'm making sure that I'm not leaving white gaps between strokes. I like to blend in both directions. Try not to smudge. Smudging is definitely a technique that you can use, but we want to try quality blending first. This does take patience because you're slowly building up those values, and good things happen to those who wait. Watch how I blend. No scribbling, no rushing, no smudging needed. Time to switch out our pencils. I'm going to get my General's Layout pencil. Remember, this has a soft lead. It makes darker marks. Here, I'm pressing with a medium amount of pressure to get a black value. So I'm still going to layer very slowly in that dark gray. We want to see clear differences between each value. So I'm going to do the squint test. Squinting is going to help me see, is there clear contrast? Looking good so far. My General's Layout pencil is pretty dark, but I'm still starting with light pressure. You can make something darker, but it's really, really hard to make it lighter. So let's work smarter, not harder. I'm still edging out my box using small controlled circular strokes and applying that even pressure. I'm still layering pretty slowly using the side of that pencil until I fill in the area. Did I create enough of a difference between my values? You know what time it is. Squint test time. It's looking good. I can clearly see a difference between white, light gray, and dark gray. So let's finish this up. I'm now going in with my solid black value. I noticed that there was some streaky craftsmanship going on. I'm going to blend that out. Do you see how I blend in circular motions, but I do it in different directions? Much better. See, even I have to have patience. All right, back to my clean edges. I know this feels like an extra step, but it's really smart to edge out your areas first, whether you're using pencil or even like a wet medium like paint. A common mistake I see in students is scribbling, right? No, don't do that. Use small controlled circular motions to build up those values. That's going to cover all of the white gaps between your strokes and create a smooth value scale. Practice makes permanent, so practice blending the right way. Proud of y'all for taking your time. All right, so we're working with value, but this time we're going to work with hatching. So hatching uses parallel lines to create different values. That means they're all facing the same way, and light hatches have more spaced apart lines, where darker values have closer together lines. Let's try it. I'm going to go ahead and just use my general layout pencil. Remember, parallel means they're all facing the same way. I'm going to leave that white value empty, and I'm going to start with the light gray. So light value equals fewer lines, and they're spaced apart. For a midtone dark gray, I'm going to have more lines closer together. The idea is you're covering that white space of the paper, and I'm still gradually building up that value. Pressure doesn't matter so much here. It's more about the amount of lines and the spacing. Is there enough value difference? You know what I need? The squint test. Let's check. When I squint, I'm seeing a clear difference between white, light gray, and dark gray, but whoops, I noticed something else, a craftsmanship issue. Does this ever happen to you? You drag your hand or fingers through your already completed work? Yep, that's a mistake I do too, but we can beautiful oops this really easy. So I can lay down an extra sheet of paper to kind of cover that pencil. All right, back to hatching. So the big takeaway for hatching is your lines have to go in the same direction. Also, spacing. The closer your lines are together, the darker the value. You're going to see texture, and a lot of times you'll see graphic artists use this with pen and ink. All right, use my eyes, scrutinize, see if I can add some more parallel lines. Again, I'm going in a diagonal direction, but you can use any direction you wish. Consider this value contrast achieved. And look at me learning from my mistakes, covering up that work so I don't smudge it. All right, cross-hatching. We're going to build up our value with perpendicular lines. What that means is that we are layering lines in different directions. Each new layer makes the value darker. So keep your lines neat, don't scribble, and let the lines do the work. Again, I'm starting first with my hatch. I know that the closer the lines, the more lines, the darker the value. So start there, then go in a different direction, whatever the opposite is. That new layer is going to make the value darker. Do not forget that we are training our eyes to see clear differences between our values. So that means, that's right, squint test, practice it again. Look for those clear differences between white, light gray, dark gray, and black. Even when you're hatching and cross-hatching, it's not going to be solid. But cross-hatching means controlled layers. It does not mean messy crisscross scribbles. Keep those lines neat, don't scribble, and like I said, let the lines do the work for you. So I remember in hatching, the closer the lines, the more lines I have, the darker the value. The less lines I have and the more white space showing through, that's going to be a lighter value. Okay, I've got my first hatch direction. Now I'm going in with my perpendicular or different direction of hatching. That's why it's called cross-hatching. Not crisscross scribbles, crossing those controlled lines. Yes, we are learning proper shading techniques, but we're also training our eyes to see those gradual differences and any craftsmanship concerns. I stopped, I paused, I looked, and I noticed that there were some white spots that I could hatch in. When I think of craftsmanship, I also think of neatness. So take the time, if you have some smudges, to use that eraser and draw back in that neatness. Erase those smudges that you do not want. All right, let's go to stippling. We're making marks here, people. It's what we do with those marks that make our work look great. Okay, so the marks we're making now is stippling. Stippling uses dots only, no lines allowed. You can see here for my light gray, don't forget to leave your white box empty, by the way. That's your highlight. Your light gray, fewer dots. So that means more of that white paper is showing through. Art should not hurt, so you're not trying to jam down your pencil and hurt your hand. You're just dabbing and making a little dot. Okay, guys, now I'm going for a darker gray. If lighter values mean fewer dots, then darker values must mean what? You know, more dots, and they're closer together. Now, I will tell you, stippling, the technique, does take time and patience, but it creates amazing texture. Like if you were wanting to do a 3D rock or tree, stippling could create that really bumpy texture. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm still using my General's layout pencil because it's not about pressure here. It's just about building up layers of marks. Hatching, cross-hatching, same thing with stippling. Now, if you rush stippling, it's gonna look sloppy. This is your friendly craftsmanship reminder to slow down. This takes time. Your future artwork will thank you. Some more facts about the way that I use stippling. I know we're using a pencil medium here, but I really enjoy stippling with pen and ink, marker, even in painting. I love making little dots and textures with my paintbrush to fill up a value. Okay, let me squint test at this a little bit. All right, I'm doing the right thing. I'm adding more dots. I'm making them closer together. So that way I get that dark value. It's not going to be solid blended in black like our first value scale, but you should see that gradual difference from white to light gray, a little bit more dots, to dark gray, more dots, and then to black, a lot more dots. If you are someone that loves the process of making marks, I think you'll really like stippling. Patience, slow and steady wins that race, but man, art should not hurt. If you start getting cramped up, shake out those hands. Okay, squint test it time. A couple more dots and boom, shakalaka, we've got value contrast. We can apply value to color too. Notice the light greens, the medium greens, the dark greens. So now we're ready to level up using watercolor pencils. They're just like a regular pencil. Test out the colors that you like that speak to you. Test out some already different values of colors. There you go. You see light, dark. See what works for you. I also have my water cup and my paintbrush. Okay. So usually I would shade lightly with pencil first and then build up the darker values. But here, let's try something different. Let's mix it up a little bit. I'm going to use the side of this color pencil, still blending with good craftsmanship. And I'm going to lay out the kind of darker value and then gradually, without stopping, ease up on the pressure of that value. I'm going to try to blend away any little lines that show the value difference, clean up any craftsmanship concerns. And then I'm going to dip, 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 make sure my brush is clean first and pointed, get a little water on my brush. I'm going to apply clean water to that brush, clean on my brush again to see if I can create a gradual change from dark to light with water. Did you notice how I used this small brush with water to blend out my values? This is what modeling is. It's creating a gradual change. Yes, you could do this with a regular pencil, but I think it's really fun to practice this wet medium to create that gradual change from dark to light. Modeling means 3D shading. This is how artists show form. Light values start on one side, dark values go on the opposite side, and then the medium values blend in between them. Keep practicing. Common mistakes is you have too much water that can muddy your values or not enough contrast. That means your artwork's going to look flat. Your goal is to create still that strong value contrast because that's what makes strong art like you see here. So here's some big takeaways. Good art isn't about being naturally talented. It's about patience, focus, and craftsmanship. And remember, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. The more we practice seeing values, creating values, practicing those right habits of light to dark, smooth blending, clean techniques, and taking your time, these value scales are going to be the foundation for everything we do next. So let's make these value scale practices count.